give a clear cut, a clear definition of what is good and what is bad, what is happy and what is sad, what it must be and what is, what I want to be and what I cannot be. That is what Greimas call modality. That is to say, at this level, we must decide on what side we want to be. We want to be inside or outside. That is very simple. Greimas make a whole bunch of possibilities and combination of this, but we will try to work out it this way, in the simplest way. Then, after deciding ideologically what is good and what is bad, we must translate all this into a real text, something that we can read directly. And so the idea, I will analyze this, the introduction in the opening credits, and a couple of images in the, from the series. Here we have the introduction, space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise. If you follow the marked words, the emphasized words, you will see that, as a matter of fact, there is an idea of inside and outside. The frontier is actually marking this opposition. Seek out, to explore, mission means to go outside. You cannot explore something. Well, in another sense you can, but you cannot explore the space where you live in. You usually refer to getting outside, and when you do it in another sense, you are metaphorically going outside. To boldly go where nobody has gone before. This is all telling that there is this spatial opposition, and opposition in space. Because also where words like final might be confused with a timeline, actually, originally, etymologically, they refer to space. Because final comes through French from the Latin finalis and finis, which means boundary, limit. And the choices here could have been the last frontier, space, the last frontier. That would be markedly, clearly time. It could have been space, the 23rd century frontier. But it's not time that they want to mark. They want to mark an opposition of space. Actually, also boldly, as an explanation in a special, in space terms. But I will, if we have time, in the question and answer section, I will talk about the last words, new, also. We cannot replace strange young worlds to seek out young life and young civilization. New is what is different. Okay? New means that it is something that is not in our sphere of knowledge, in our understanding. The idea of the frontier and applied to space travels was basically a social fact. At that time, when JFK did his speech at Rice University in '62, he talked about the exploration of space in this term, in terms of space. Look simply at what was once the farthest outpost on the old frontier of the West will be the farthest outpost on the new frontier of science and space. Houston will be the heart of a large scientific and engineering community. So again, inside the heart is the center, and the old frontier, the new frontier of space is what is outside, what marks what is outside. Look also at this issue here, and we have vowed that we shall not see it governed by a hostile flag of conquest, but by a banner of freedom and peace. When going outside, we want to put a flag, because we want that outside to become inside. What do we understand from this picture? Can you see it? It's a corridor. If you have ever seen Star Trek, the original series, it is a common setting of many scenes. Can we say something regardless the scene, regardless the story? I guess so. Look at this. As a matter of fact, if I see a curved corridor like that, I can definitely say that on this side it is the outside of the starship. On this side we have the inside, the center of the starship. It's another matter of where the starship is going, because this circularity can be placed, the curved corridor can be placed in any place around the disk. I can be here, here, here. The starship can go in any direction, but when I see the curved corridor, I always know that outside is here, inside is here. As Graham has said, they who produced the text established with us a benediction contract, according to which this possibility that would reverse our notion of outside inside when looking at the curve of the corridor is not actually feasible. Where should the corridor go if it is placed like that? So also in the settings of a TV series we have this repetition of inside and outside. Look at the way of inside and centrality of the American mission is also reproduced on the bridge. The preeminence of the American endeavor, space endeavor, is represented. This is the chair by Captain Kirk, and it is elevated from the ground. All around we have everything that is not American. The Scottish Scotty, an Asian guy, Sulu, a Russian guy, Chekhov, a Vulcan, Spock, and the African, Lieutenant Uhura. They are all around the center, the true center, which is the true American, Captain James Tiberius Kirk. This setting will be completely different in the other series. The Captain Jean-Luc Picard, which we understand is not exactly the pure essence of the American guy, is set at the same level with the others. Something changed with the other series, but at that time, at the time of the original series, the opposition between inside and outside was like that. Before introducing you to the other slide, let me tell you, if there were elements that you remember, those of you who have seen that the original series should easily come up with a visualization of what I'm talking about. How did the series mark the fact that the Scottish, the Asian, the Russian, and the Balkan, and then I will talk about the African Uhura, were not American. Scottish, the Scots, and the Russian, since they looked like the American, spoke a different dialect, they had a different accent. For Sulu, we hadn't any problem. We do not exactly know if it's Japanese or Chinese, because the name actually doesn't suggest that it is Japanese, even though it is represented as such. Zulu spoke an English that was not inflected with any particular accent, but they had a slanting eyes. The Vulcan was differentiated from the American because of the ears and the eyebrow. Let's see how was the Lieutenant Uhura characterized. Lieutenant Uhura was a real problem in the 60s. Remember, you have to get back to the 60s. There was a distracting element, the miniskirt. Clearly, that would have made a black woman on the bridge of the Starship as acceptable, but it wasn't enough. My theory is that the communicator device she always keeps in her ear work as the social psychologists call them a social stigma. That is an element that goes on